Hello, everybody. Welcome to Four Seas, One Family. 四海一家. My name is James. 我是季明. Today we have a really interesting guest here coming into Taiwan from the United States and now stuck in quarantine. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is day 11 for our guest. So everybody say hello to Chieni. How you doing, Chieni? How are you? Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi.
Wow. So am I right? This is day 11 for you. Am I right?
I believe it's day 11.
Yeah.
So time has flown by pretty quickly, actually.
Get out of here quickly. Come on. This must feel like you're in a mini prison or something.
I think what has prepared us, because myself and two kids, is we've actually been in quarantine since March.
Wow.
In the States. And so, March 13th, I believe, is when we went into lockdown. And so, we've had a couple of months to prepare for this. So I feel like this is not new right now. And in fact, we get to have really good food while we're here. And so it's actually better than, the last couple of months.
Well, how does it being, with kids locked up in such a, confined area? So right now you're in what part of, don't tell everybody exactly where, but what part of Taiwan are you being locked down in right now?
We're in Taipei, northern part of Taipei.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do the kids deal with this? I mean, being locked up, it's kind of hard trying to keep kids locked up when they can't go to the gym or basketball or go to a sleepover at their friend's house. I mean, how are they dealing with this?
Yeah. I think, again, we've had some practice and some mental preparation since it was a bit of a shock for them since March, when school was closed. And then we went into lockdown. And so, they've had a couple of months of not really seeing friends or only seeing friends from a distance, seeing friends mostly from on the screen, going to school via online platform. And so they've had a couple of months of kind of being prepared for this. Also, just before we came here, I did talk to them about how we're going to have 2 weeks of being inside and no going outside, no going into the yard like we have been. So, yeah, they were prepped by myself. That said, it's not always easy. The older one, she's a teenager,
Ooh.
so she's been able to be on the phone with her friends, like FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
So that has helped. There's a little balcony where we are, so you can kind of go outside, look outside, watch the traffic go by. And that's about, that's the level of our entertainment some days. The younger one, she did have a day of feeling a bit stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're getting closer to the end of quarantine, she's kind of like counting down.
How old is the little one? How old is the little one?
She's 9.
Oh, okay. Well, still, that's up there. That's up there. And, it can be rough. How has schooling been going on? I mean, being out here in Taiwan, and also the time differences can be, hectic. How are they dealing with school and stuff like that currently?
Yeah, they're out of school right now. They're on summer break, which was that was how we scheduled it. We had actually purchased our tickets last year to come after break, and so that part is okay. Although having been online, doing online school for the last 3 months, I feel like they missed a lot in terms of learning and the social interactions.
Right.
And so I did sign up the little one for summer school. And so we're doing that online right now.
Wow. And also you got your husband, he's, everybody has to work, and how are you dealing with that? Because, you're on the other side of the world, basically. I mean, you're just the opposite of my hometown, New York,
Yeah, we have a 15-hour difference between here and where we just flew over from. And so so yeah, I'm getting up in the middle of the night to do some work, and then I'll sleep for a couple hours and then get up in the daytime to work for a couple hours. So it's kind of broken up a bit.
Yeah, you and I doing our pre-show a couple hours ago. We're talking, and you can wake up in 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and in your pajamas, and like what's below this frame in this photo is none of your business. So that can be relaxing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And we've been doing this since, again, since March. And so many of us have kind of, it took a bit of time to get used to, but now we kind of got a system down where, like we can look okay up here, but we'll still be in pajama pants.
Mm-hmm. And your better half is doing okay?
Yes, because he is not he is not a Taiwan citizen.
Mm-hmm.
He is back in the States. He did not come to Taiwan this time.
Okay, he's like going, oh, I'm lucky. Okay, moving right along. But it can be quite shattering, especially when you traveling with family and stuff like that. Can you talk a little bit about what you have experienced so far? I mean, this is the second time you've been locked down. I use the term lockdown because to me, I just cannot be locked up too long. But how is it the difference you notice? Because Taiwan has done a very remarkable job in controlling this COVID-19 virus, whatever name you choose to use for it. And it caused Taiwan to, in a positive light, to get a lot of international recognition as far as not only controlling how people are quite cooperative here, but also in a situation that Taiwan was placed in as to be able to donate masks to overseas locations, especially locations like where I'm from, New York City, the South Bronx, where so many people have died. What kind of comparison have you noticed, or can you make a comparison based on what you've known or experienced so far?
Yeah, it's so hard. Where do we begin to make the comparisons? I was here in January for the election here in Taiwan, and from then already, I heard about this. It was already in the news here about this unknown virus that the government was being very careful about. I went back to the States, and unless you were really paying attention, there really wasn't much talk about it. And then in Seattle, where I live, we got the first case of coronavirus that was discovered by accident. And it was discovered on, the person was tested positive late January, same day that Taiwan had its first case. Unfortunately, the difference in government action caused Taiwan's numbers to remain small, right, whereas in the States it kind of ballooned and then went throughout the country. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing is a central command, central leadership. That's the biggest difference that I've been able to see. For example, central leadership to say, all right, people need masks. This is how we're going to get everybody masks. Whereas in the U.S. and much of the world, we were told, you don't need masks. Save them for the healthcare workers, which I understand. Right. But then to switch the recommendation some months later, the damage kind of was already done. People didn't really trust what was coming out of the CDC anymore. And so that kind of created a lot of confusion. And then with the central, leadership saying, well, this might be a hoax, or I'm not wearing a mask, then that kind of influences people to not really take it seriously. Whereas in Taiwan, it was the opposite direction. everybody's going to get masks. There's going to be I think a law preventing price gouging. There's price fixing so that masks will be affordable. And and then what else? Oh, another policy I really like is the humor over rumor policy, where fighting against all the misinformation, because we know so much misinformation is around.
Well, just getting more into that, because I think wearing masks is important. Especially when I'm wearing one right now, so just to show folks back home that wearing a mask is not a big deal. Living out here so long, you see people wearing masks as a courtesy to not pass on their illness, a common cold, on to other people. And it's not that convenient. I can do a show with a mask on and stuff like that. But there are those people, and unfortunately some people who actually believe that masks are useless, have succumbed to this deadly disease. What have you noticed? Well, you can even be specific if you want. The attitudes towards mask wearing in the United States. And don't be afraid. You may get some trolls.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is people thinking about their own freedom, their own rights, to choose not to wear masks. And that right is, for lack of a better word, trumps anybody else's rights.
Oh, no pun intended? Correctly. Okay, moving right along. Yes, it is.
Right. And so, I see people, and there are so many of these videos coming out where people throwing huge tantrums over being asked to wear a mask, just for going into the Walmart and to a shop. The list goes on. Mm-hmm. And why I can't say I understand, exactly what their reasonings are, because it's, at the, as the Washington State's governor said, mm-hmm. The worst thing that happens is you have a piece of cloth on your face. Yeah. But the best thing that happens is you save lives. Mm-hmm. And that's so, right. If you think about the cost benefits, it's really such a small sacrifice. Mm-hmm. So I really can't say I understand the reasoning behind, all the tantrums and all the upset over wearing a mask. I can only guess that, that in the beginning, when we were told specifically, don't wear a mask, just wash your hands, and masks don't work. Yeah, and so that really did create a lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. So then for them to turn around now to say, masks do work now, please do wear them. I think, that just set a lot of people down the wrong path.
Yeah, it's like a throwing dice. I saw a meme recently where it says people don't make too much noise about putting on a mask and smearing all this deer urine on them to go hunting. But when someone asks them to put on a mask just to walk into a Walmart, it's like everybody's going on a war path. It's type of mindset. And, Americans in some ways have become somewhat, how would you say, spoiled with the freedoms that we have, that we think that the freedom ranges into everything we do. I mean, it's like walking into someone's birthday party, and when we sing happy birthday to someone, it's like saying, I have a birthday too. Well, we hopefully, will continue to have these types of birthdays. So from here, do you see, well, you got to, after you go through, your visits here and head back, has it changed the way you see the things that are happening back home, as far as the way our leadership has been, proceeding, or how we've been living with our neighbors, or how should we see the future and proceed like this? I mean, you have to work from remote locations. What part of you see this has changed your life in the long run, not the short run?
Yeah, I think given the way our numbers are, the infection numbers are, it is going to be a long haul. We're not going to be able to get back and open up the economy the way we think we should, and be safe. We're not going to. We're going to see a lot more casualties, unfortunately, without drastic changes, like more lockdowns, more public health measures. How have our lives changed? How would it change? Yeah. We will continue to work from home and do online schooling. We will have to keep everyone safe.
What do you think? Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's really too bad because not everyone can work from home. Not everyone has the privilege to work from home, and it's usually the most vulnerable populations, the bus drivers, the people who are cleaning the hospitals, all these frontline workers that are really putting themselves out there, and for. Again, I'm going to go back to the mask thing. All the people who are refusing to wear masks, but insisting on infecting others. That really shows a disregard for the people who are working hard in the front lines.
Yeah, the essential workers. The term has been coined on them. How do you communicate with people back home, stateside, who just may not be totally informed on how masks are, why they are worn, or how wearing masks out in certain parts of the world has become, I wouldn't say a custom, but a asset and part of communal living. What approach do you take, or do you even try at all to try to communicate with people like that?
I think it depends, if they subscribe to the, this pandemic is a hoax, that it was there are some really crazy conspiracy theories out there that, this virus was created by Bill Gates, to so he can make money off of vaccines. I can't even remember some of the conspiracy theories. If they subscribe to some of these conspiracy theories, then it's a lost cause. Facts don't matter. But I do think that there are lots of helpful videos out there where people are wearing masks and using the oximeter to show that, it's really not cutting off your oxygen. It's not affecting your breathing. You can safely still wear a mask, keep yourself safe, keep others safe, and go about your day. Like, think about the surgeons. I've been saying this to others. Think about surgeons who spend most of their working lives behind a mask. And you wouldn't want them to not wear a mask when they operate on you. So, does it not make sense to wear a mask to keep out the virus or to keep yourself from infecting others? I have said that to others. So, yeah, I don't know if it works. It's just, at this point, you just hope for the better.
Yeah, it's kind of hard trying to grab for straws sometime. And there is a lot of gaslighting And in a lot of cases, a lot of virtual signaling going on out there. But I want to talk about something serious, a little bit more, well, I would consider it a little bit more serious. I mean, what can be more serious than this, COVID-19 or Wuhan virus or whatever you want to call it. But what has been the perception from, say, the majority of the Americans towards Asian nationals or people who of Asian descent? I noticed that there's been some backlash that has been brought upon our fellow Americans because of this. Have you noticed any of this or heard of friends being affected by this type of attitude?
Yeah, like, hate crimes against Asians have risen, I think, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, tenfold, maybe 100-fold. I myself had a recent incident while I was in the middle of working, actually. And it was actually quite traumatic. And I remember as I got out of it, the situation, alive, which is more than you can say so many of our Black brothers and sisters. But, I remember as I was driving away, still thinking, trying to give him, this person, the benefit of the doubt. But, then I thought about it and I realized, no, it was completely racially motivated. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for people to intimidate someone. Like I would never have treated another person the way that person treated me, a complete stranger. And so, yeah, it was completely racially motivated. So. Yeah. It's an unfortunate part of the current climate in the U.S. And I can only attribute it again to leadership that is setting a terrible example by using racial slurs constantly to describe
the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ignorance.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably, this type of situation, because, your children, they may be encountering some things like this, and, mommy and daddy's not around. And, are you doing anything to, what are you doing, I should say, to kind of like prepare them for these possible eventualities? I mean, in the Black community, we are constantly doing things like that, especially amongst our male, men and young men and women back home. Are you doing anything like that to help prepare them for situations like that?
Yeah, it's so hard because you want to keep them innocent. You want to, keep their childhood. As carefree as possible. But I do share with them incidences that happen, whether it's, when it's in the news, like, this Asian person was called a racial slur. This thing that happened to me today at work. I also share all the news stories, like, story of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. It's sad, like, you can't. There's no way around it, but they have to know, right. And they have to learn how to be actively anti these incidents. Yeah. So, I guess talking about it is what we're doing.
Right. Chieni, sorry to have to, close up a little bit. I know, you're busy, you got things to do, you got a family to take care of. And I really thank you so much for the time you spend with us here. And I'll get this out as soon as possible. And, once again, hopefully I'll get a chance to see you while you're here in Taiwan. And we can have some coffee we got to maintain the distance, right? But is there anything you would like to say to the audience or those who are listening, and in some cases viewing this particular episode? And say what you want to say, and you can also say it in Mandarin if you like.
Okay. Well, I think to some people in the States, when I talked to them about having to undergo 14 days of quarantine, it was really shocking to them, thinking about, wow, why would you do that? Like that is such a huge deal to go through just to visit your family. However, when I think about the number of days that Taiwan has gone without a local infection, and how much I want to keep people here safe, it's again the cost benefits. Like, why wouldn't I want to do my part to help make sure that the island is safe and that my family is safe? So it's a small sacrifice to pay for the greater good. So that's what I'd like to leave for people who might be thinking, I don't want to wear a mask, I don't want to undergo quarantine.
Thank you very much, Chieni, and I really appreciate you once again spending the time, and I wish the best for you, your family, and everyone else there in the viewing audience. Chieni, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.